All right, test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. See how our audio is this time. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. All right, I think we're fine on all of our platforms now. Give us just one more moment, and then we'll finally kick this thing off. Hang in there. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Audio check. All right, we've had some issues for like the past 2 hours. We've been trying to set this up, guys, but I think everything's good to go. We're checking all the different platforms, making sure we're not squealing loudly on one of the other ones. Facebook is fine. I think YouTube is fine. We're checking the others, and bear with us one moment. This is the first time going live on all 5 platforms, so technical difficulties are not all that surprising, just very, very annoying. Audio test 1 2 3 3 2 1. Audio check, test 1 2 3 3 2 1, test out. All right, guys, we finally have this figured out. We are hot. We are live across all platforms, and I'm about to drop kick some babies, but we finally got this thing figured out, apparently. Anyways, my name is Creighton Piper with CryptoAnswers.net. This is our live stream event for the night. I apologize. It's been a while since we did our last live stream. Been busy, been hiking and doing a whole bunch of other stuff, but now here we are, and we got it set up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everything. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Like always, we're going to start with a quick market recap. We're sitting at about 3,700, or we've been hovering just under 3,700 for quite some time for Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much no movement right there for about the past 24 hours. So boring, completely boring. This is for Bitcoin anyways. Ethereum now about $283, down 3.5% for the day. Litecoin just under 48. Let me say Go 863. Zcash is one of the only top 20 that's actually in the green right now. It's right at $209, up 2.5% on the day, and everything else is red for the most part, except some weird outliers. Oh, look at there, Civic also in the green. Anyways, moving on down the list, Monero just dropped under $90. Digital Cash under or just over $335. IOTA sitting at 53, and Neo just under $20. So I haven't been tracking prices lately. I've been busy. I've been, like I said, camping, not even near internet connection. So I'm kind of out of the loop right now. I'm just kind of regurgitating what I see on these charts. But I would like to talk about. So here is the one-day chart. This takes us all the way back to February of this year, and here's a sell-off that started on the 1st of September, right? So as you can see, the 21-day support there and the 50-day support have crossed, and so now there's going to be quite a bit of support at this level here. But we're still falling. We're not even trying to approach that level of support. We're right between the cross and the 100-day moving average there, which right now is right at 3,300. We're right in between. But as you can see, I mean, the overarching, if you draw a line from here, just right through there, I mean, this is an outlier, this is an outlier, but we're pretty much still falling, right? Now it does kind of look like we're finally starting to gather some, to consolidate and gather some support right here. So who knows? But we're still, I don't know. We're gonna have to break out one way or the other here pretty soon. So I think it was back up here. This was like a week ago. Last time I did a live stream, I said if we don't break the 21-day moving average in the next 48 hours, we're gonna end up falling back down, right? And that's exactly what happened. We fell from wherever we were, about 3,800, I think. I think it was right here. We fell from 3,800 down to 34, 3,500, and then we pretty much stagnated just south of 37. I don't know. I don't know if that 3,000 support is going to come back into play. It looks like we're going to have to probably wait on some pretty big negative news in order for that to happen. The headlines have been a little bit more positive lately. China has started to fade from the headlines, but Jamie Dimon still seems to be kind of relevant. And now we have a whole bunch of other billionaires coming forward and saying, you know, Bitcoin's a scam, blah, blah, blah. Look, I told you so. It's falling, it's falling, it's falling in price. And I don't think people are really buying that, though, anymore at this point. I mean, there haven't been any big sell-offs. You know, the biggest sell-off in a day has been like, you know, $200 for Bitcoin, and that's pretty much nothing. So yeah, I don't think people are really listening to Jamie Dimon and those people at this point, but we are waiting on some positive news. So here we are, the 24th of September. We're about 2 weeks out from what's it called? Byzantium going live on the actual live Ethereum blockchain. We're about 2 weeks out from that. It's already live on the Ropsten testnet. That happened, must have been about a week ago because that was the last time I streamed live. I haven't really heard much about it. I've been typing in Ethereum news whenever I can, trying to keep up, and I just don't see much news on it. So apparently it has been working. They did their first ZK Snark transaction, and it seemed to work pretty fine. Now it does have a very, very high gas cost. So I guess the privacy transaction on the Ethereum network is very much more costly than just a normal transaction. So I don't know if they're trying to streamline that now between where we stand now and when it goes live on the testnet in October. I don't know. I can't find much information on it, but as soon as I do, I'll relay that to you guys. But then there have been some headlines here on SegWit2x, and I would like to talk about that just a little bit. Let's see. First and foremost, this is from BitcoinMagazine.com. The title is SegWit2x and the case for strong replay protection and why it's controversial. And basically what this article talked about is how the miners, the mining pools, the nodes are not really in complete agreement yet as to whether they want to accept the hard fork, the way it's going to go down. If they don't come to agreement here pretty soon, then there's going to be another split. There's going to be a hard fork regardless. The only question is, will there be another split? Will there be another Bitcoin currency that shoots off from Bitcoin Classic or whatever you want to call it? And basically, they talk about what can happen if that does happen, and it gives a lot more information. I think as much as maybe about a month ago, they were talking about how there could be 2 more hard forks and 2 more new currencies. And let's see, what do they call them in this? Okay, so apparently replay protection is going to be a big deal if and when there is a split, because if there's no replay protection, it would be very easy to accidentally send someone both currencies. So if there's, let's say we're back to August 1st and Bitcoin Cash just split, right? So if there was no replay protection, you would be able to accidentally send your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin Cash to the same person in the same transaction. And I mean, obviously, you do not want to do that. You'd just be sending them free money. I mean, if you can retain the Bitcoin Cash and send the Bitcoin, that would be ideal, right? So in order for it to happen that way, for you not to be able to accidentally send both currencies in one transaction, there has to be replay protection. Now, if you want a better explanation than that, you need to read this article. I don't know what to tell you to Google. I forget. I think it was just Bitcoin News. No. I Googled SegWit2x News, and it was like one of the top 5 results. Anyways, they get more technical than I just did. I just gave you a very, very brief summary. But they do talk about replay protection here in depth just a little bit. Let's see, what else was there? they've they came up with names for the different currencies that would. Okay, so B2X and SegWit2X is what they're calling the forks. SegWit2X obviously includes everyone, all the miners that are embracing the hard fork, and then B2X is everyone that was not supportive and chose to turn against it. So, anyways, let's move over to this article. What was this? Replay protection. I don't remember what I was going to talk about here. So this is not the same article, but it is similar. You know what? I don't remember. I'm going to come back to that later. But for anyone who is newly arrived to the stream, this is a Crypto Answers live stream event, so I'm going to go ahead and show our homepage here. This is the landing page. Here's our most recent article. Here's an interview we did with Robert Monster. That was at least a week ago at this point. But anyways, we did a poll, a live poll on Facebook a couple days ago, and we were asking for input and opinions as to whether or not you guys would be interested in a new webpage. We are very strongly considering producing a new webpage, and it's going to be a combination news aggregate, just like CryptoPanic. I know I've showed you that several times, but it'll also be a simulated exchange where you can open a free account. You can you'll start with X amount of money at maybe like 10 grand or something like that. You will be able to basically tune into our live streams, feed from them all the technical stuff that I talk about, use that in your own trading to buy whatever altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want, and just see how you do. See if you profit or see if you don't. And then if it works for you, then maybe it would be a good idea to start investing in cryptocurrency, right? So this is it'll be targeted. I mean, the news aggregation, that will be targeted. I mean, everyone can benefit from that. The simulated account, that's going to be targeted more towards newer investors or potential investors, people who don't have their money on the line as of yet, that they just want to test the waters and see how this works out, see if they feel like money could be made easily, and if so, then they can jump in. If not, well, lesson learned for free, essentially, right? Maybe this isn't for you, maybe it is. Anyways, if you think that sounds awesome or useful, or you think you could benefit from that, please let us know. Comments, I don't know where you're tuning in from, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Give us a comment. Let us know if you would like that. It's going to be costly. It's going to be very expensive to hire the developers and make that actually come to pass. It's going to be expensive. So that's why we're asking for your input and any commentary you have on that. We want to make sure that you guys do want it. We want to make sure that our viewers will benefit from this before we actually go with it. So, enough said on that. Let's go back to the market. It is completely flat today, unmoved since we last talked about it. Let's see here. I have not been keeping up with whether or not we have questions coming in or not. Alan, if we have any questions, make sure you forward those to me via text, because I'm not keeping up with that. But anyway, it looks like Ethereum, Litecoin, everything's unchanged. The market is completely flat right now, and that's pretty typical over the weekend. There's not much news. Let's go Bitcoin news. Bitcoin trades sideways. All right. Yep, we're seeing that. We're waiting for some kind of news, anything, to move the market here. Ooh, this could be good. I haven't read this article. This is talking about the Byzantium upgrade that just went live on the Ropsten network a week ago. Let's see what they have here for us. That's what I wanted to talk about. Let's see if I can find the article. Okay, so here it is. This is at news.bitcoin.com. The sub-headline here is Central Banks of Indonesia and Ukraine will not recognize Bitcoin as a means of payment. And this is pretty big. I mean, not so much Indonesia, but for Ukraine, That's pretty big because I don't know if you remember several weeks back. I think I wrote an article and we did a live stream talking about Ukraine and how it is. I think it was by the end of August, they were supposed to have like 150 Bitcoin ATMs or BTMs, as they were starting to be called, spread all across Ukraine. And I mean, it really looked like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was a go in Ukraine. The government was supporting it up till that point. And it looked like it was going to be, there would be mass adoption in Ukraine. But then I read this article, and it turns out not so much. So let's see. At the start of the month, Ukrainian lawmakers met to conduct preliminary discussions regarding the legality of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies within the country, agreeing to finalize their determinations within 3 weeks. The preliminary discussion suggested that Ukraine may move to develop a permissive regulatory apparatus pertaining to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, with the chairman of the National Securities and Stock Market Commission stating that blockchains, bitcoins, tokens, and other technologies have already become an integral part of the financial market, especially for Ukraine, right? Because they have these Bitcoin ATMs spread all across the country. Less than a week later, Reuters reported that Ukraine's Justice Ministry had conducted the country's first trials of blockchain technology, being conducted by the state, with the ministry planning on utilizing blockchain technology and conducting auctions of seized assets as part of an initiative designed to modernize state institutions and eliminate corruption. All right, so where is the actual... All right, so it stated that Ukrainian officials have concluded that Bitcoin is not a currency due to the absence of a government issuer, and that Bitcoin will not be legally recognized as a form of payment. I mean, that's disturbing. So now, just because the currency is not backed by a government issuer, now it's not a legal currency. I mean, every single one of these cryptocurrencies is not backed by a government issuer. That's the whole point. The whole point is for it to be decentralized. And now, I mean, they may as well come out and say, if it's decentralized, we're not going to recognize it as an official currency. And that's bogus. I mean, this is just Ukraine, but, I mean, more could follow. So that is a little bit disturbing, this change of tone from, all right, Ukrainian lawmakers are making large Bitcoin purchases, to now we have Bitcoin ATMs spreading all across the country, and now all of a sudden, bam, we're not going to recognize it as a legal currency. So I don't really know what caused that change of tone, but kind of sucks. See if there's any movement in the charts back here. Wow, actually, yes. We just jumped above 3,700. We were at about, what, 3,680 or so. Now we're at 3,750. That is some interesting movement in about the past 3 or 4 minutes. Ethereum now up almost to 287. Zcash pretty much, well, I guess it's up a buck. It's up to 210 now. So I wonder what's causing that. I don't know if someone on the other side of the world is waking up and maybe starting to move the market. Who knows? But finally, seeing a little bit of movement there. Let me check. Where is... trying to find the chat here so I can start answering questions. Usually I have it up on my phone, but I did not do that today. Let's see what I can find here. Ah, there we go. Chris Warden said, anything that the government says is illegal, I buy more. Yeah, it's tempting. It's always nice to kind of stick that to government if whenever you can, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a good sign, and the markets have not been moving positively for us the last couple of days. So, I mean, even if long term, maybe Ukraine changes its mind, China changes its mind, short term, the price of Bitcoin is still falling, and we're still seeing these negative headlines pop up here and there. Now, like I said, as we get closer to SegWit 2x and Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, Byzantium, hopefully we see more and more positive headlines, and that might turn the price of Bitcoin. But as of now, I don't know. We're pretty much seeing an equal amount of both. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I came prepared with today. The price of Bitcoin is still climbing, though. 3,750 now. Almost even on the day. Ethereum is down less than 2% now. Let's check out 10x. 10x has really been lagging. I had high hopes for 10x coming off that $3,000 low, the Bitcoin low, but we're sitting right at $2. I mean, we've had no movement at all for 10x, and that's almost depressing since that's my second biggest holding. For me, it's depressing. I don't know what you guys are holding, but all right, I'm gonna try to pull up. There we go. So for those of you that are just now joining, I'll go ahead and start recapping a couple things. First off, SegWit2x, right? We're not sure if there's going to be a consensus among the miners or among the nodes. There seems to be a little bit of disagreement, and if that does happen, then along with the hard fork, there will also be another split. I'm not sure what they're going to call the new currency, but I'm seeing people call it B2X, or I don't know. They're just trying to find a way to identify it in shorthand in these articles, but it could be bad. And what we're looking for, if they do that, if there is another split, like a new Bitcoin Cash or something, we're hoping that replay protection is a thing, because if it is not, transacting in Bitcoin could be a little bit dangerous, because you could accidentally, and I hear it's easy to do this. I don't know why. I've never heard of it until now, but apparently you can easily send your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin Cash equivalent all in one transaction to the same person without meaning to. So replay protection would prevent that. Now also, it's very difficult to implement replay protection on Bitcoin, on like what's it called, the Bitcoin primary, whatever you want to call it, the primary Bitcoin currency. It's very difficult because it has so many fingers spread out, so many different exchanges, and they all have to upgrade their software, upgrade their stuff to reflect the replay protection. Otherwise, it won't work. So the idea, or the hope, is that if there is another offshoot, a new currency is born, that they will implement replay protection so that Bitcoin primary doesn't have to do it, because it would just be such a pain in the neck. Now, it's possible that there's going to be not only one but two offshoots, possibly two new currencies. And if that happens, now we have 4 different Bitcoins. Bitcoin primary, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin 2x, and Bitcoin, whatever the heck they call them. It's not going to be good. That's going to be direct competition for Bitcoin. So I don't know. I have 0 Bitcoin holdings right now, because there's just more and more is questionably up in the air for Bitcoin. With Ethereum, not the same story. Ethereum, more and more people are adopting the Ethereum blockchain and building more decentralized applications that use it. They're launching more ICOs that use Ethereum. Ethereum is outgrowing Bitcoin, and I don't understand why we're not seeing it reflected in the price of Ethereum. Now, it could have something to do with the fact that Bitcoin, there's a hard cap, right? Max supply of 21 million, and for Ethereum, there's no hard cap at all. It can grow infinitely, but then again, Ethereum, or the actual ether, the gas, is burned up in some of the transactions, so that helps reduce the inflation to an extent. Especially, I don't know if you heard me mention this earlier, but the ZK Snark transactions, the actual private transactions, are much more expensive to conduct on the Ethereum blockchain. They use a lot more gas. So if that happens, we'd be destroying more ether, I believe, if I understand that correctly. And that might help suppress the amounts of ether outstanding, which I can only imagine, would be bullish for the price. And then another thing to think about is the difficulty bomb. It's going to be released with, I don't remember if it was Byzantium or if it's going to be released with Constantinople. Either way, in about a month or less, they're going to release the difficulty bomb, and it's going to be more difficult to mine Ethereum. So with that in mind, I think that's going to reduce the income of Ethereum miners. So I don't know if they're going to potentially find a different coin that's more profitable or what. I don't know. We're just going to have to see what happens there. It could go either way with that upgrade. I think it's going to be positive, though. I really do think it's going to be positive. Now, looking at Bitcoin here, the price continues to climb as we sit here. It's up almost $100 in the past 15 minutes. Not sure what's driving that, but I am glad to see it. Glad to see some action finally. When we say go, closing in on $9. EK Cash now almost 213, up 4.5% today. So EK Cash is on the move. IOTA, it was 53, now it's almost 54, almost even for the day. And NEO finally topped $20. Finally seeing some movement. This is good. I don't know why comments are not coming up on my phone. Oh, there we go. I just got. For some reason, the first comment I see on my phone is Tran John checking in saying, "What up? What up, Tran? Good to have you here. Glad you were able to check in tonight. We finally streamed a little bit earlier tonight. It's only 9:30 my time. I don't know what time it is for you, but we were streaming pretty late in the past, so I'm glad you were able to join us this time. We would have been streaming like 2 hours ago, except we had a hell of a time getting the stream up and going. This is the first time we have streamed cross-platform on a whole bunch of different platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, blah blah blah. So it was a little bit difficult to get that set up, but here we are finally streaming to our entire follower base. So yeah, once again, feel free to chime in if you like the idea of us creating another website. We have a name for it. It's going to be awesome. We thought long and hard about the name, but we're not going to release that just yet. But what we will release is the idea behind the webpage. It's going to be a combination news aggregation website and also a simulated exchange and simulated wallet where you can buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency for free with no risk at all, because it's going to be fake money, right? So when I say a news aggregation website, this is what I'm talking about. CryptoPanic.com, I've shown you guys this before. Pretty much it just fetches headlines from all over the internet and it compiles them into this easy to view column here. And then you just read one by one. You don't have to Google, all the different stuff. Ethereum news, SegWit 2x news, Bitcoin news, Litecoin news. You don't have to do all that. You just have to go to CryptoPanic.com or go to our news aggregation website once we get it up and running, if that is something that you guys want, and you'll be able to fetch headlines like this just like you can from CryptoPanic.net. So we're gonna combine essentially a CryptoPanic.com website with an exchange. It'll be combined into one. You'll be able to do both at the same time, and you'll be able to use some of the technical analysis that I talked about in some of the streams and see if it works for you. See if you can make some money. So we think that'll be pretty useful. So at zero risk, you guys can just mess around and see what works and what doesn't. But if you like that, if you support it, if you would use that and you think it would be beneficial, please let us know. Please comment, let us know. And if you think it's worthless, like you think that's the worst idea you've ever heard in your life, let us know. We need feedback either way to make sure that this is going to be worth the time and worth the money that we're going to be investing in it, because it'll be quite the project. But anyways, what else were we talking about here? I already talked about that pretty recently. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Wow, we're almost up to $3,800. We're in positive territory here. CryptoPanic, we have. I'm not really seeing any headlines here. Let's try Bitcoin news. Nothing recent. I don't know why the sudden price movement. But it's finally getting a little bit exciting. There we go. Ethereum tops 290. It was about 280 when we started the stream. Now it's up to 290. That's pretty good. Litecoin was at like 47. Now we're up almost to 49. When we say go, just top $9. Zcash is up over 5% now. Sweet. NEO is continuing to climb. Ripple's going to hit 18 cents here pretty soon. Alright, so we're up to 20 viewers now, so I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. Oh, wow, that's what I'm talking about right there, that price movement suddenly. Pretty much the opposite of that right there. Interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and recover some of this news for people that are just now joining. We're talking about SegWit 2x and possible ramifications, whether it'll be a good or a bad thing. And it could go either way at this point. What we're hoping is that all the miners come to agreement and we can go through with a hard fork and implement this new technology onto the blockchain without actually splitting the currency. Right now it's kind of up in the air, but we could end up with two more currencies, two more Bitcoin offshoots, a total of 4 Bitcoin currencies. And if that happens, probably bearish for Bitcoin. But this article right here talks about it in depth. If you want to pull up some good information on SegWit2x and how it's going to be affecting us moving forward, go to Google and just Google SegWit2x news, and there's some pretty good articles on that right now. Train John asked a question, why do traders fear this thing? Not really sure what you're asking there. If you could expound on that question, I would like to answer it, but I'm not sure what you're asking there. So if you could expound, please do. I'll keep an eye on the chat there. And well, that sucks. So we were not able to top 3,800 there. It fell as soon as we approached it. It did fall a little bit. I wonder what the significance of that is, because I'm not seeing it on this chart. I mean, there's where we are. The 21-day moving average has been falling, but it's still at about 39.50 or so. Let's see if I can pull up a different tool that'll maybe help us out. Let's see here. What's it called? Forget the name of the tool I'm trying to find here. Oh crap. There's a tool that'll actually project the moving average. It's like a forward-looking moving average, but I don't remember what it's called. There we go. I think it's a weighted moving average. It gives more weight to like the recent trading. Ah, there we go. All right, so here I'm zooming in on the weighted 9-day moving average, and that is where we're hovering at right now. If you can see that, every time we approach it, we sell off. We approach again and we sell off. So we just breached it momentarily, but again we're starting to sell off again. Oh, never mind. We're going back up slowly. But that's interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Again, that's the weighted 9-day moving average. It gives more weight to recent trading. So I don't know how to explain that very well. But since Bitcoin has been falling recently, the weighted moving average has pretty much been falling in line with the price of Bitcoin, at least a lot more than the long-term unweighted moving averages. Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to keep an eye on that moving forward because we're trading right in line with it. All right, Scott Hyder. I think that's the new name. I don't recognize it. He asked the question: if you had $200,000, would you build a huge rig and mine Bitcoin with GPUs via NiceHash? No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I've never been into mining. I've never done that. I'm sure it's lucrative. That's why so many people do it. But I'm more comfortable trading, just buying and selling the Bitcoin. To me, that's easier. And I'll kind of merge this question with the next question. Scott Warden asked, "What is your background?" My background is in stocks. I've been trading stocks since 2011, and it just kind of it was easy to move into cryptocurrency because of that. But so with that, I have no mining background at all, but I do have a little bit of a trading background. So I would prefer to just use that $200,000 to buy and sell some currency on the open market. I do think the crypto market is pretty transparent, pretty easy to read. A lot of it is just headline based. So I don't know. I think you can make a lot of money just buying and selling cryptocurrency. I would recommend the large cap stuff like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Some of the altcoins, I mean, you can get lucky and make a lot of money, but you can get unlucky and really be in the doghouse for a long time. So I usually only throw like small change at the altcoins. Most of my money will be in like the top 3 or top 5, something like that. But yeah, good questions. Good questions. I appreciate that. I am running out of things to talk about now. Yeah, I got nothing. Purecoin struggling down to 120. Glad I didn't buy Purecoin. Thought about it. Scott Hyder says he mines and holds. Yeah, that's a pretty good strategy. I know some people that do that, but I mean, long term, I think we're going to be okay. The market's being pretty dramatic right now. Um, if for anyone that bought up at $5,000, I'm sure they're worried. But I think long term we're going to be okay. I'm sure we're going to set new highs eventually. It's just a matter of trying to determine when that's going to be. So mining and holding is probably a pretty good strategy. Um, all right, Thomas Pellegrino. Oh, sorry, I missed some questions. Eric Shepard asked, what are your predictions for OMG? I don't really follow OMG too closely. I know it's a privacy coin, and there's supposed to be a very, very good development team behind it. But there is some pretty staunch competition with Zcash and Monero and stuff like that. I I don't know. I don't really follow it too closely. Like I said, I don't have a good prediction that I can give you in confidence that I think it would be trustworthy. Kevin Ostrom, what are your top picks in altcoins? All right, so I said this in my last stream, so I'll go ahead and repeat it. IOTA. I love IOTA. That's my number one pick. The proof system is Tangle, and it is pretty revolutionary. I think it puts proof of work and proof of stake completely to shame. The way that works is if you want to make a transaction with IOTA using the Tangle proof system, you go ahead and make your transaction, but as you do that, you're required. Part of the process is actually verifying 2 other transactions. So what that does is it completely eliminates the need for miners, and it prevents congestion on the network, because even if like with Bitcoin or Ethereum, there's a possibility that miners don't grow in numbers, but the users of that particular blockchain do. So then as that happens, the system will get slower and slower, but it will never happen that way with IOTA, because every user has to approve and verify those transactions. So that's pretty cool. And another thing I talked about last time was people were saying Tangle is not that great because you can just copy it. It's an open source. What am I trying to say here? You can basically copy and paste their whole design and start your own Tangle. And the problem with that is you need a giant system for it to really be functional. So what happens is people tend to kind of gravitate towards the biggest network, which is going to be IOTA. IOTA has a massive head start there, and I think if anyone else tries to come along and steal market share, it'll be pretty difficult unless they can build on the technology and make it better. So that's probably going to be the only threat for IOTA. Number 2 pick, I mean, I'm going to say 10x, right? Because I've been holding it for quite a while. I expected good things, and it hasn't been happening. I'll be honest. Oh, well, there we go. It was at like 207 earlier. Now it's up at 213. Finally in the green, at least for today. 10x. I think the recent high was like $4.10, $4.15, something like that. Whoa, Mom, don't call me. That was like September 1st. That was right before the big market-wide sell-off, right? So it has not recovered as well as Ethereum and Bitcoin and some of those top 20 coins. I don't know why, but I can only imagine that it will. If Bitcoin and Ethereum top their like 50 and 21-day moving averages, that's going to be very, very bullish for the market overall, and 10x I can only assume would follow because there's so much hype. There's so many. I mean, they already have a working product. There's so many of these other coins that they're promising stuff, but they don't have a working product at all. So I don't know. 10x has got to go up. If you don't follow the 10x CEO, I always forget his name. Why can I not remember his name? Dr. Julian Hosp. There you go. If you're not following Dr. Julian Hosp on Twitter or LinkedIn or something, you should do that because almost every day he posts some very valuable information about developments on the 10x network. Right now, 10x is not offered in the United States. Obviously, they do have cards. Like you can use your card with the app to spend currency on the fly, cryptocurrency. So you can just hold your cryptocurrency and use it anywhere that a Visa card is accepted. However, it's not accepted in the United States. American citizens can't get the card. So, I mean, once that happens, if that does happen, there's going to be a massive spike in 10x. And that's what I'm crossing my fingers and really, really hoping for. As of now, it hasn't happened. What'd you ask for? My top 5? I'll go top 3. How about that? I don't really feel strongly about 5, but I'll go top 3. I think Ripple is going to be a pretty good long-term bet. Short-term, I don't really know. I don't really know what to expect. I know they do have that Swell conference coming up in October. That's just a couple of weeks around the corner. I don't know if that's going to be bullish for the price or not. But I do think that with the backing that Ripple has, it's going to be pretty bulletproof moving forward. The only decision you have to make is whether you want to make your money off of a currency that is pretty much backed by the banks. So that's my top 3. Scott Hyder says you've been holding since 2013. Well, then you've done very, very well, my friend. That's pretty stellar. That's awesome. Chris Warden. Okay, yes. You asked about Walton Coin last time. I finally did some research. I just researched it today, as a matter of fact. And I don't know. I read some negative things, but that was talking about. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. I want to say that it was legitimately pumped and then dumped a month or 2 ago. It's up 9% today, so that's looking pretty good. I think it was pumped pretty hard here, and then it sold off pretty hard. I don't know, but it's almost recovered. Where's it at right now? 182. The max is 287-ish. Oh man, I already forget exactly what. I know Samsung backs it, right? I forget. I don't even know what the underlying technology is. I'll be honest. But I started reading some of the negative stuff, and I don't know. I can't get behind Walton Coin fully at this point. I need to do some more research. But I guess in the past, what was this? The 22nd of September. In the past 3 days, it's gone up. It's gone up 50%. So I don't know. It's looking pretty good over the past couple of days, that's for sure. Ahmed Red said, "What's the risk?" I don't remember what that. I don't remember what that was in reference to. James Baum says, "Hello, welcome, James Baum. Good to have you with us tonight. If you have any questions, just let us know." Yeah, Chris, dude, I completely agree with you. 10x is going to be awesome long term, and I'm willing to sit on that for months and years if I have to. I think it's going to pay off for sure. Just hoping for it to be accepted in the United States here as soon as possible, because then I'm going to get my card as soon as possible, and I will straight up make a video and show you guys how easy it is to use. Really looking forward to that. I think that'll be awesome. Let's see what we have here for price action. Pretty flat for Bitcoin over the past 5 minutes at least. We're flat at 3,800 instead of flat at 3,700. What else? Did I miss some questions up here? Let's see here. Nope, I think I covered everything. Let's check CryptoPanic, see what they've been fetching over the past few minutes. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So yeah, I do apologize. I haven't been very active the last week, or not on not as far as cryptocurrency is concerned. I haven't done any articles, no live streams until now. I've been pretty busy, so I do apologize to you guys for that. But this week, I'm going to try to pump out some articles, videos, and live streams, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the market ends up being pretty interesting this week. We have been, where are we at here? We've been pretty steady here at the 3,800 mark for a while, so I think there's going to be a spike either way here pretty soon. We just need some news to make it happen. Still hovering right there, right at that weighted moving average, and I guess that makes sense. 21-day moving average, 39.51. It might be hard to bridge this right here, that $4,000 level. It's quite a bit of resistance there now. Who knows? Alan still thinks we're going to see $2,800 Bitcoin, so that would be, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there's still a lot of support at 3,000. If we do end up falling again, I think it'll be hard to crack the $3,000 point. More people are going to be waiting to buy in. A little bit disappointed that they missed out the last time. I'll probably buy some more at 3,000. We'll see. All right. Anybody have any more questions? I'm running dry here on things to talk about. Try to be a little bit more prepared for the next live stream. Walked in the door, took care of some things, and then we started messing with the restream, trying to get this broadcast on all of our different channels. All right, well, it is an early day for me tomorrow. It's going to be an early week, as a matter of fact, and it's almost 10 p.m. my time. So for those of you who did tune in, thank you so much. I appreciate the questions and the support and the camaraderie. It's always fun to chat with you guys. Once more, if you have an opinion either way on the site we are considering building, the combination news aggregate site slash what? It's getting late. I can't remember. The exchange, the pretend trading site. Let me know if that's something you guys think you would like, something you would use. And as of now, I mean, we got, I think, 40 thumbs up on the live. Dude, I cannot think right now. We got some pretty good feedback on the first night that we thought about this. So I think as of now, we're going to go ahead and press forward. So if there's no negative feedback that we get on this, you'll likely see that in the coming months. But it will take some time. It will take some money to develop. And hopefully we can bring that to you guys at least by the end of the year. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be a Merry Christmas present. Anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been fun. We'll see what happens in the markets this week. And if anything exciting does happen, we'll come to you with another live stream. Hang in there and stay healthy. Catch you guys later.